talking to?
I'm on the computer.
She's out there. Oh. Great.
All right, so thank you, everybody, for coming this evening. So we have Brian Harris, Brian Foppus, Peter Hopkins, Jennifer Boucher, and Rebecca is joining us via Zoom.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, she is. Hi, Rebecca.
So we have a quorum, which is good. So to start the meeting, we need approval of the agenda. So would someone like to make a motion for that?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda. I'll second.
Second, any discussion? No? All right. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Rebecca?
Oh, aye. Sorry. Thank you.
Pay attention now.
All right.
I'm trying.
Okay. So the first item on the agenda tonight is to finalize the town picnic planning. So I'm glad to see that Angie's joined us because I had to email her a few times about this. So because of the construction down at the park site and around that area with the town hall, we agreed to move it back one weekend. So we need to pick either Saturday or Sunday and a time. And with that being said, we also talked about having a Pownal themed weekend. So Pownal Youth Sports was interested in participating with us or participating as part of that weekend. So there's other things at play here. So the first item would be, when do we want to have the town picnic, Saturday or Sunday, and what time?
What are the dates?
The 8/21 or 8/22?
Could I just add,
Yeah.
since I was involved with the previous town picnics, because my father was on the board then and he made us all work there for the town picnics. It was always on a Sunday and it was in the afternoon and it was for 2 hours. Try to remember to keep it
Okay.
consolidated and like just a couple hours. You don't want it to drag on and on because you want to get people to volunteer and help. And you know, I'll get as many people as I can to help.
Yep.
But I can't guarantee. I will be there to help.
Yeah. So what exactly, I guess I should clarify, what is the Parks and Rec's responsibilities with respect to the town picnic? Like, are we hosting it or are we promoting it or?
I assumed that the way it was presented to us, that you guys were hosting it.
Okay. All right. I guess it'll depend on availability that weekend. So I know you're gone that weekend.
The 21st.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're out of town and
I'm gone.
Peter's gone too. So
I'm around.
you're around. I'm here. Rebecca?
I don't have a home in Pownal all of August, but I might be able to do some things. Like I'm not really there.
Okay. So it's going to be kind of hard for two people
What's your vision of the town picnic?
Yeah.
So what the town picnic used to be,
I know used to be, but
Used to be.
what's your vision now?
it's pretty much the same thing. Everybody meets down here. You give out hot dogs and hamburgers. We always had ice cream and freeze pops for the kids. We had the fire department and the rescue squad there, so the equipment was there so people could see it. I was even thinking, what'd she say?
That's
I'm
cool.
sorry. I said that's cool.
I thought you said that's bull. I'm like, what?
No, sorry.
Nice
cover,
going, Rebecca.
Sorry.
And, like Nathan Martell that has big trucks. A couple farmers could bring some farm equipment for the kids to look at. We always had horseshoes, stuff like that. Just, it's basically a meet and greet for the community to come together and have a hamburger and a hot dog. And we usually get out a cake and cut up cake and
So here's what I can do. I don't know if this will help you guys, is that tomorrow I could put out a call for interest in this. And hey, do you guys, who wants to bring something? I can make like a little, maybe a sign up sheet, or contact me and let me know what you want to do. And I can talk about the tentative date and time. And, you know, I think that might be the kind of thing that people that we don't even usually hear from would be really excited about and show up for. And maybe like, hey, I'll bring 5 bags of chips and I mean, it doesn't have to be fancy, right? Like we don't,
No.
you know, if someone doesn't get a hot dog, they're not going to die. We make sure the kids get if the kids get served first, you know?
Right. I always ask donation from, we always have in the past asked for donation from stewards, and they've been very come forth and given us rolls, the soda, bags of ice. The Legion actually gave us the ice. We had collected money and we went to Whirly's and got the hot dogs and the hamburgers.
Okay. And so you collected money, you just asked people for donations, is
Well, the
that?
first year my father just did it. I don't know how he paid for it and he got donations or whatever. And then at the picnic, somebody put a hat out and went around and collected money.
Gotcha.
And Rebecca, is the money gone that was in the line in the budget?
For a picnic?
Yes. I thought there
No,
was like
we've not
four.
touched it. I believe there was 500 in there,
I was gonna say
right?
there's 500, isn't there?
Yes, we did. We budgeted for that last year.
Yes.
Didn't know that.
Yay.
Saw Jimmy Winchester today too, and he said that there was stuff left over from the Pownal Valley Fair that he would have to donate.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay. So I guess then it would be like, do you have chairs and tables or where do people sit and stuff?
We have all the picnic tables.
Yep. Does it bring your own camping chair?
Like bring your own chair, whatever.
Chair?
We did bring 2 gas grills, but now do you have the grills down there now?
Yes.
Yeah, we have a grill down at the ball field.
How many can you cook on it?
Oh, is this the ball field?
No, right here.
Oh,
Oh, but we can bring the grill up here.
we have 3 here.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
okay.
Charcoal grills. Yeah.
Charcoal grills.
grills.
Everybody knows though that you have to start your charcoal at least a half an hour beforehand that you want to start
you just
cooking,
keep it
right?
going.
Okay.
Okay. And then, so people bring their own stuff and so you have a line item budget. So that's good because I was going to ask about things like plates and cups and, all those types of things. And is there anything else? It's just,
We now have we have, in addition to the skate rinks, we've got horseshoe pits, we've got a bocce court, we've got tetherball, we got basketball,
Cornhole boards.
cornhole boards. I mean, there's plenty of things for people to do.
okay.
But basically, we got people together and gave them a free hamburger and hot dog and a bag of chips and a piece of cake.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a lot of the older people loved coming and they looked forward to coming every year and,
Just a chance to get together.
exactly.
So what if it rains? Do you,
Never had that problem.
It's not going to rain.
okay.
It's going to be one of the 6 days this summer it doesn't rain.
And we'll get 100 people underneath that shade
Shade
Yeah,
shelter.
shade structure.
down there.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying we can't move it. We can't postpone it because the next weekend is the stuff there.
Yeah,
So it's
they're
just,
bringing
it is
stuff back.
just.
It is what it is. If it gets canceled, it gets canceled.
Okay.
And I mean, I would think that you would want to like shoot for a yearly, like this be a yearly
An
thing,
annual event, yeah.
annual event. Yes.
Okay, and so I know Pownal Youth Baseball had talked about, so we were going to use it as a fundraiser and try to kick off the weekend like a movie night and combine that with Pownal Youth Sports is what it's called, right? I'm sorry.
Well,
Brian.
it's still going to remain Pownal Youth Baseball.
Okay,
Only because of the cost right now. That might change, but right now the cost of changing the name legally through the state.
Got it.
So it's going to still be on paper Pownal Youth Baseball with Pownal Youth Sports being a subset of that.
okay,
And that's we're trying to get together a soccer camp and we're going to branch out to some others, short sport camps for kids.
okay. So we're looking at kicking off the weekend with a movie night down at the baseball field. They would sell concessions. We would have some other kind of fundraiser.
Yep.
They had also talked about a cornhole tournament. as
Yeah,
a
so
fundraiser.
I haven't talked to Steve again yet, but Steve was going to see about getting use of the Legion. And we're going to try to partner with the Legion down there to see if they would want to run like a spaghetti or some kind of food and they could sell food there. That way they could make some money off of it. We were going to run a cornhole tournament
Okay.
with, I believe we were thinking $10 per person, random teams and 50-50 split at the end.
So
What day?
We were thinking for the weekend following
Oh,
Pownal.
okay.
Oh.
wow.
I talked to Colby. It was going to be all that weekend as part
Oh.
of Pownal
Well,
weekend.
perhaps I have the wrong weekend.
I thought that would make sense. Like if you did the movie night on Friday,
Yeah.
the cornhole on Saturday,
Yeah.
and the picnic on Sunday afternoon.
Yep. And Faith Church is, when I mentioned it to Pastor Jason, they're opening a coffee house. So they were thinking of hosting it's not for sure yet or whatever, like their first open house coffee house. Like they've professional coffee equipment there and everything. So maybe like and other people can do whatever, but I'm just saying it'd be like a Pownal themed weekend where there could be things people could participate in all weekend long. So, but
Well, kind of like when we did the townwide tag sale and people have different tag sales, but you could have different events going on.
or someone wanted it to have an event that weekend. We just would not want to have conflicting events. You
Yeah.
wouldn't want things going on simultaneously so that everyone could participate. So, okay. So with that being said, fundraising ideas for Parks and Rec, some things we were talking about was like a 50-50 raffle at the picnic or, for the whole weekend or something like that. Some other raffle or drawing where there were prizes. We had initially mentioned a pie sale, bringing back the old.
That's going to take some planning.
Yeah, I guess that's going to have to be that's going to take that one off, or if there's any other ideas, because we're officially out of money at the end of August. Like we can't pay for the porta potty or anything after that.
So and this goes, we talked about this last time a little bit, and since Angie's here, we shouldn't be spending so much time running around borrowing and stealing money.
Yeah.
What we're doing deserves to have a budget item, line item. And if not, then we'll go ballot article. But we've got to get town support for what we're doing because we're spending entirely too much time and effort just shoestringing this stuff. People get tired of that.
I would think that you'd have to get put on the agenda and come to the
That's fine.
board.
No worries.
And then ask.
Yeah, we'll have a budget available and we'll come to the board and see if we can get approval for what we'd be doing in 2000, second half of 2022, however that works. But between now and then, we're running around trying to chase grants. And the people who judge these grants don't know us from Adam. So all we can do is make a compelling case. And if we can't make a compelling case and we can't get grant money, then we're stuck in the mud.
Yeah. Yep. But for now, like I said, we have money. We'll be out of money basically at the end of August, early September. So we need to have some fundraising effort that's not an enormous amount of legwork. So if we could partner a 50-50 raffle or something. I don't
And
know.
also, we talked about like an auction too, probably silent
Yeah.
auction.
Which,
Maybe
I'm
that
sorry,
would go good
Brian?
with auction, silent auction. That might go good with the picnic. We can get local businesses to donate gift certificates and stuff, and just have the 50-50 along with the silent auction. And
Again, difficult. I don't mean to be Mr. Negative here, but, people have donated to the Battle of the Bands. They've donated to the fire department, cash calendars. It's just one after another. And it's just for little businesses, like ours, we're happy to do it, but there's only so much we can do. And at some point we have to say no.
Right.
And that doesn't fly very well with the people who are asking for money.
That's why I think that the idea of doing that midnight run next year is a really great idea, because as Jennifer said many times, that's tapping a different, that's fundraising of a different kind. We're taking the effort to host an event, not tapping the same people over and over and over again. It's like people that aren't even related to Pownal will want to come and do this cool run.
Yep.
And, I think so obviously we can't put all our eggs in the midnight run basket, but,
No, and when we started off on this thing, however long ago it was, the first thing that we noted, among the first things that we noted that we should not do is do events.
Yeah.
And we have learned that to a certain extent. We, had great stuff planned for the skating rink and school vacation. It rained.
Yeah.
right.
Took us out for a whole week. When we do events, we are not in control.
Yep.
Whereas if we have a legitimate funding source and a legitimate budget to spend this money on whatever it happens to be, then we are in much better shape than if we're just trying to do this event, that event, the other event, and it rains. It rains in February, it rains in August. So I don't disagree with the need to fundraise now, but that's a really, really short-term strategy.
Yeah, it's just a plug to get us to a budget item, hopefully of some kind next year. So we can put our efforts towards other things. Okay. So that being said, did we make any decisions? Does anybody else have any
So picnic on Sunday.
picnic on Sunday?
Moving
say-
night on Friday, we said?
Moving night on Friday.
Maybe next Friday?
What's on Saturday?
Well, then.
Who's on first?
Oh, you beat me to it.
So what time Sunday do you
Movie
want?
night is Friday? Is that, did we?
Two
There's something
o'clock
on,
before?
if there's nothing on Saturday, we should have moving night on Saturday. But
I think that's up to the church. I don't know what night they were planning on doing the movie night.
It all depended on the other.
they're having the Friday night fires during August too.
Oh yeah, he did say that we were starting that back up.
We are, I think he had orchestrated this with the Pownal Youth Sports before
Okay.
that. So
Maybe he's gonna have the first fire be down there for the movie night.
maybe, yeah,
Okay, so Friday night, movie night.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, right now I guess I would say right now,
yeah. So Saturday.
but that can be subject to change.
Yeah, we can, this is all subject to
Yeah.
change. So I think the only thing we're in control over is the picnic. So the picnic Sunday, is it normally at 2 o'clock? Is that what time it was?
remember.
I can't remember.
2 to 4.
Sounds good, like 2 to 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
I looked for it online, hoping the banner would have an old article, and I couldn't find anything about it previously. So Sunday, 2 to 4. All right.
2 until it pours.
With
Okay.
50-50 rack.
With a minimum of a 50-50 raffle. Okay. And we'll come up with some other things between now and then.
I think
Do
you
we
could also
wanna-
just put out a bucket that says,
Yeah.
you
that too.
know, Parks and Rec, or, you know, mural for skate ramps, or some, you know, a specific thing. You know, just put a bucket out. People might throw cash in there.
Maybe have a poster with our future plans, like, you know, we want to build a
Yeah.
pavilion and put a playground in, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Something that just
Okay,
is a
so,
vision.
yeah, no, that's a good idea. So I think the next step will be,
Do we want to create any space for like any vendors to come in to try to sell stuff?
I think it's such a narrow
Not
window
this
of
year. I
time.
would say it was such a short notice at this point. I think that's a good lofty goal for next year, personally. To make it more fair, you know, well, there's already a fair, but like, if, you know, to have the vendors, it's a great idea, but, what are we, August 3rd today?
Yeah, we're only a couple of weeks away.
They're booked.
And so how many people usually come? Do you have any idea? Like of what attendance is, like 100, or
We had a good 100, I think.
for planning purposes?
I think a good 100, yeah.
Okay. All right.
So what day is it? The Sunday? That's the 22nd, right?
Yes.
Somebody's birthday that day.
Yours?
Yeah.
Mine's tomorrow. I'm dreading it.
Oh, well, happy early
Oh,
birthday.
It's a big
Angie.
number, is it, Ann?
Husband says everybody important is born in August.
Way.
Oh, I'm sick. Just starting.
Okay.
All right. So I think, given that, if you don't mind getting emails, Angie, I'd like to, and Rebecca, put together like a list of what we think we need in order to solicit volunteers,
Yeah.
like food, like bring chips, bring soda,
Yeah.
bring, you know.
Do like a little wish list, and I will definitely do some graphics and get that
Just-
out on Facebook and all of that.
Just try to remember that because of COVID, you want everything individually wrapped. Because you guys were supposed to do that in the skate thing in February. Was it February? I don't remember. But
The
anyways,
regulations are completely different now, though. That
no,
like,
no, you're not letting me finish.
Oh, I apologize.
That's okay. Remember you guys were going to do a event and I got all that stuff, the ketchup and the mustard
Oh,
and
yeah.
the hot dog rolls and the hot dogs from Stewart's, and then you guys didn't end up using it. So I still can get that stuff for the picnic. So I will have mustard and ketchup individually wrapped.
Okay.
I believe we asked for 4 packages of hot dogs, and I think it was 28 packages of rolls, but I can't remember correctly. I can go back and look.
They're gonna donate the hot dogs too?
I had asked for it for when you were gonna do the skating thing. So those are owed to me. They know that. But in previous years, we just went to Worley's and got like a case of 100 hot dogs and the really thin hamburgers. What are they called? 1 1/4.
Yeah.
Oh, the quarter pounders?
Yes, thank you.
Even Walmart's got the box of them now.
Right.
You know,
They don't take
Yeah.
long to cook at all.
oh,
Because they're all water.
they're an
and salt.
inferno quick too. At my house anyway. If you hear the smoke detector going off down Center Street.
So as soon as we can get a list together of like,
Okay.
because we used to get cases of soda from them, but it's their brand.
Yeah.
And the rolls we can ask for. Chips.
Yeah. Anything like that. But I think you're probably right on
Like you should have the individual bags.
bags, not doing
Nothing that.
nothing buffet style
Exactly.
because of the current situation that's evolving.
Yes, exactly.
Who knows where we're going to be in 3 weeks? Anyway,
Mocha has already gone back to masks.
what has?
Fire Mass Mocha in North Adams.
A lot of places have, a lot of places have.
Yes.
Even
Okay.
the last few days, I've noticed a big difference in the stores.
Yeah. Okay, so in terms of marketing or promotion, I can make a flyer. That's pretty easy. And we'll just post it on social media and share it. Maybe we can make a
Yep.
Facebook event
Yeah, I
so
can,
it-
yeah.
so it could be shared.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. And then I
Once you get the
will,
flyer, send that to me and I can do those other pieces with social media.
okay. And then I will reach out to my contacts and figure out the whole thing with Pownal Youth Sports and church and see if there's any other events we can fit in on the weekend to kind of make it a Pownal.
I messaged Colby to see what weekend he was planning for the cornhole tournament because he was organizing it. He hasn't got back to me.
Okay. I did meet with him once already.
He said he did meet with you.
Yeah, yeah. So we
Because after church, after we had the thing down there at the church, we had a meeting about it.
got it. Got it. Okay. All right. Anybody have anything else to discuss on the town picnic or Pownal weekend? Anything else? We're good? Okay. All right. The next item is Vorek grant opportunities.
Mind if I leave?
So with the agenda, I also included the Vorek PowerPoint presentation of the grant funding opportunities for a couple of different grants, actually. So I thought we should talk about potential projects, if a subcommittee could be formed to work on this.
Oh, that probably would have been a question for Angie if we can do that.
What?
You
Form a
can, we can
subcommittee?
do that. We can do that.
Okay.
We can, yeah, absolutely, we can do that if we, yeah.
And then I don't know what the select board approval process is for this either, because we have no authority on our own. So we need to go before the select board. So,
If they get the grant, you have to pay the expenses up front and then they reimburse you. So the town will have to pay the expenses up front.
Right.
Yeah.
right. So that's another question because this is,
It's reimbursement.
it's $50,000 though. So it's a good,
Yeah, but it did say you can submit multiple requests for reimbursement, so reimburse as you go, but.
okay. So a couple of the potential projects could be improvements at the Center Street Park. So some things that we've talked about in the past, which are the addition of a playground structure, the addition of a permanent pavilion, and some planning, into the actual, grounds so that we're compliant with ADA requirements. So that's a potential opportunity. Another opportunity would be the Pownal Youth Sports Complex, quote, complex, that is town-owned property. So I know that there is interest for Pownal Youth Sports to expand beyond baseball. So that's another potential area. Another one would be the Hoozick Bend Trail, where I know that there's always been concerns about parking in that area. So there's potential to make parking outside of the gates of the wastewater treatment facility so that folks aren't entering into that area. So perhaps another area, different area for parking there. And then we had gone on a hike of the Strobridge recreational area, but with that, there's still a lot of unknowns about property ownership. So I don't know that we can get those questions resolved by the time the letter of interest is due. So something we can also chat about.
I think focusing on Center Street would be good because we've got a good story here, right? We started with nothing and we built it. We've made some progress already. And that was one of the things that they said they look for is know that you have momentum and that you have, you're helping the community as a whole to enhance the community.
It's also village designation, right?
Yes, it is.
Center Street.
Yeah.
I think it's Village down in North Pownal too.
There's three.
Yeah, there is. They're both village designations. So if so I actually had a conversation with Jim Sullivan at the BCRC. Yeah. And also with Kat Briers of the BCRC, more in depth with her. And because I know we had talked about the possibility of a planning grant for just the development of that village center, which includes Center Street Park. And she says we're very well positioned for a planning grant. Now, also the Planning Commission is considering a planning grant for this year. So I'm going to be presenting these two options to the select board on the 12th. And what they're looking for is that the select board wanted them to look into finding more industrial area. And so they were going to maybe do that and do a full land survey of all the areas in Pownal, which would actually be a really cool, comprehensive thing that the town could really use for many, many more things besides, and where are you going to put some industrial? So what was recommended to me, a good suggestion that was given to me was that, listen, with Center Street Park, you already have some stuff that you've started there. So you're pretty well positioned for a Vorek grant. And so for me, I'm going to agree with Brian. I think that we came out saying we are going to put our eggs in this basket. We're going to really focus on Center Street Park. And I think, we're a small group. It's hard to get a lot of sweat equity into these things. Do you know what I mean? And I think that that if we just stay focused, personally, I would prefer to stay focused on Center Street Park and just put everything into it. It means so much more than the park as well, because the town hall is going there. I mean, it really is the possibility for not just recreational, but economic development, I think is pretty high.
Okay. So the minimum grant requirement is $50,000.
Yeah, but we go to a big pavilion with a concrete base and
Yeah.
electrical and a small.
I was thinking
playground.
about,
You're gonna be right about that.
Restrooms,
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
permanent restrooms.
Yeah. Those will use your money up.
There goes my $50,000, right?
Well, you can, is
ADA
it
compliant.
maximum 50,000? Is it only a
Minimum.
50,000 or is this the one that's 50, 100 and 150?
It's minimum of $50,000.
Is there a
Okay.
maximum?
No, there's no maximum.
Other than the town has to pay for it up front and then hope for reimbursement afterward.
Well, if you get the grant money, they're going to reimburse us. I've never heard of there being issue. We certainly can't start the work or ask for the money until we know it's going to be reimbursed. But that would
Right.
obviously, we have to clear that by the select board.
Right.
I mean,
So-
I personally would like to see some effort put into the recreation down and along 346 in North Pownal.
With Pownal Youth Sports in that area.
With
over there.
either the ball field, the Strobridge area, or the Hoozick Bend Trail. And any of those, I think should be equally considered. I mean, I agree, we're doing great work up here on Center Street, but to be honest, it's getting kind of full down there. I mean, how much more can we logistically fit in down there?
Right, that's why we need that's why we need some planning to look
Yeah.
at, because everything we've done down there is actually kind of temporary, could all be moved.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, even the skate park can be.
But we're talking, a pavilion, which I think is a good idea. But the pavilion's going to take up a large footprint of land, depending on how big we put it. Now, we're also going to be losing some of that space to parking for the town hall. So once you start doing that, you want bocce ball area, cornhole, horseshoes,
Those are all set.
plus barbecues. Well, yeah. So my point is, if you make an area too cluttered and too full,
Right.
it's almost a turnoff to people. That's just my personal opinion.
So much
I get it.
going
I
on in
understand.
one.
I mean, I agree with
There's
the
a-
planning idea, but I think, we have a great opportunity with the Hoozick Bend Trail, for instance, to create some dedicated fishing access, some better parking, which you briefly touched on. And you mentioned a playground area. Part of the plan for when they did the sewage treatment facility was putting a park down in there, was putting a soccer field and a playground area down in there. I mean, it was
There's a
planned.
huge there's a lot of that. I would have some conversations around that, because from what I understand, the people running the sewage plant no one's wanting to give us access to that.
Well, they don't want us driving down in there because of the
Right.
damage that happened a couple of years ago, which I
Right.
understand that.
That's a very valid concern.
Right.
So if there was a way we could ameliorate that concern and have parking outside or even across the street, or that.
Well, there is technically dedicated parking at the town warehouse parking area. And there's a small sign up that says trail parking.
Right. I have someone who's has some mobility issues, and getting from that town maintenance garage to the trail is almost impossible.
Yeah.
Because it is quite a ways if you park there. So one of the grants is not the Vorek grant, a different grant, the ERSA trail grant is for enhancement of access to trails.
Yeah, that'd be perfect for that trail if we could do it this year, but it's
Right.
only one, that sounded like that was only one year. It's only for this year.
It's only a one-time.
Yeah.
It's only a one-time
Yeah.
thing. So it one of the things does say trailhead parking. And it's 25 grand, I think, is
Yeah.
the thing for this one.
The other thing with these grants, they highlighted that you have to have a good stewardship plan. Right? So once you do it, you
Yeah.
have to have a plan to
Keep it
maintain it.
maintained, yeah.
Yeah.
And this is something of great concern to me, given, the recent communications from Ray Rodriguez and Carl Villanova about
Yeah.
the Hoozick Bend Trail.
Right.
Carl goes down with his chainsaw all alone, which shouldn't be happening, but Carl's Carl, and needing
Yeah.
help, doing it. But there's no, what's the word? Stewardship,
Yeah.
built into.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
capacity. There's no capacity. So, if you don't mind, I'll talk for a minute about. I don't know if I've ever done this with you guys with Parks and Rec, but for my year or so of doing grants for the town of Pownal and speaking with all these different grant makers, it's very difficult for small little towns like us who don't have the capacity. We don't have the manpower to show. Oh, how can we come up with a stewardship plan if we can't even get a list of volunteers, really? And so it becomes, it's very frustrating because, I don't think the town is going to hire staff to do this. I mean, maybe they will, but if you don't have people we don't have that capacity, that structure that can help facilitate the money and the programming that comes from these grants, it becomes difficult. So the recommendation always has been to me in the past year when I spoke to all these bigger grant makers was that you really should start small and do these little baby steps, do little tiny baby steps of achievements and build that capacity in a slower and like a more natural way. Like I hate to be discouraging, but I don't know. Those are just my thoughts about those are some of the roadblocks that I've come up against in my work with grants in the town of Pownal.
And I don't disagree at all. I mean, if we're going to do things, we need to keep doing things we need to maintain what we're doing.
Yep.
You know, it'd be great to expand out, but, and I think the 346 field would be an excellent, because it's there. And
Well, I'm trying not to push that because I don't want there to be a perceived conflict of interest with me being on Pownal Youth Baseball.
no, not at all, not at all. But we took the field trip, you know, to the Strobridge area. Well, that's a big one. That's for another time.
Yeah.
Same.
Next year.
Yeah. And so we've got Center Park here. We have an opportunity to work on 346. It's one of the few flat spots in Pownal again.
Yeah.
And, you know, we have some support from Pownal Youth Board, you know, baseball perhaps. And so it just makes sense to do things that we can maintain.
Yeah. Maybe focus on one of those two then.
Well, I know as Pownal Youth Baseball, we're willing to put some capital into the field down there, but we have the concern that it's always been a spit and a handshake agreement with the school as far as use of the field. So now the concern has been, what can we do? And because we don't want to put a large capital improvement in down there, then have suddenly something changes in town and, well, you guys can't use our field
Who
anymore.
owns it?
The town owns it.
Yeah.
It used to be owned by the school district and then
Right.
the whole merger got signed over to the town.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brian,
Well-
that's a conversation that Pownal Youth Baseball should. I mean, this is something that I could do, and it could be separate from Parks and Rec if you write to me, and I can bring it to the board about creating a legal relationship with you guys where you
Okay.
have rights to that field ongoing. And I'm trying to do something similar with the church next door where we've started talking about that. It's good to have, it protects you and it protects the town. And I absolutely agree with you. When you formalize these relationships, you have a formal relationship to present for grant money for these grant makers. Oh, look, we forged an ongoing partnership with this organization. These community partners are very important for building capacity. That is capacity building.
Right, because and I don't even know what size that parcel of land is, but say you wanted like a multi-sport complex, right?
Yeah, which is actually kind of what we're trying to aim for.
So Parks and Rec can't manage a multi-sport complex, but Pownal Youth Sports can. So that's where a partnership, makes sense, or what Rebecca's communicating. So, okay, so we're definitely set on Center Street Park. Parking for the Hoozick Bend Trail, should we look into that at all?
I have a quick idea for that.
Okay.
Turnaround will be a little difficult. We might have to do something different. But what if we put lined parking along one side, either along the fence or along the grass side on the left going down in? Because people already park single file going down through. Why don't we just kind of put lines on it and make it official, like that this is where you can park?
I mean, I guess we could ask that. It's so tight there.
Well, people are already going this far over into the grass on the way down.
No,
I
I
mean,
know.
could we have Joel pour some gravel down there, pack it, and kind of widen the road a little bit?
I don't know.
I mean, I know it's tight, but people are already doing it.
No, they are. And, the wastewater treatment folks have a valid concern about people down in that area there. So I want to do the exact opposite of that, right? Which is pull people outside of that property. So I'm thinking, you make a good point there. And if there's any other way to get a few parking spaces, and I know there's a driveway that goes down, right? As you go into the wastewater, you could take a very.
Yeah, you can go to the left and it drops down in, and that was the parking area.
Oh,
Well, one of the parking areas.
okay. Well, I'm sure it gets flooded.
I'm
yeah.
assuming we'd have to deal with wetlands issues.
No, that's dedicated parking down through there. I mean, for development wise, you can't develop down in there, but that is dedicated parking there. So we would be allowed to maintain the parking area.
I just wasn't sure if you could go fishing down there I don't.
In the parking area, it doesn't flood that bad.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I haven't really gone down. I haven't gone down in that area except for once to go through to see the whole trail from across the street,
It just gets wet. I mean, we're Ray and them put the wood bridge across. I mean, that stays pretty swampy.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I'm talking about when you first come on to, you come onto Dean Road, you take the quick right onto the wastewater treatment plant drive.
Yeah.
There's like a left that you go down.
Almost like a,
Oh, yeah, it goes back around the other way.
Oh, where it goes down under the bridge?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I was
yeah.
talking about.
almost like a fire
That's,
department.
yeah, that's fire department access. That's no parking allowed down through
Right.
there. That's,
It's no parking, right? I
Yeah.
was wondering, can you go fishing down there? That's what I was wondering. Is that?
oh yeah, you can go fishing anywhere.
Okay.
None of it's posted as far as like not being allowed to fish anywhere.
Okay. I was just curious.
But yeah, people do. I mean, you see the guys out there, you know, and chest waders out there, and they park wherever they think it's easiest to get in. I've seen them parked all over the place down and through there.
Okay. Well, I know on the other side of the bridge, there's like a little area too where there could be some parking
Over by the pump house.
by the pump house. And
Yeah, there's a couple of spots to park there. You would have to ask Darcy how she feels about people parking there. 'Cause I know
Okay.
we can't block access to that pump
Okay. Well,
house.
then you wouldn't want to do that.
But you could, yeah, I mean, people do park there.
No, I thought it was just a legitimate parking area. That's all. I thought it was.
And
No.
it's not parking.
I'm trying to get away from the wastewater treatment plant and
Yeah.
make it so that,
I mean, as long as Darcy has access to be able to get her truck in there, I think you could easily fit one or two parking spots in right there.
That's if people pay attention.
Yes.
I would include Darcy in that conversation.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
of course.
Jennifer might be worth a phone call.
Yeah,
Just
we're
to-
not looking to ruffle feathers, that's for sure.
oh,
Right,
no, I'm
no,
trying to do
I
the
really-
opposite.
Yeah.
I'm trying to go the other way.
Yes.
Right.
I'm trying to be,
We just need to get a grant for a ferry across the river from New
Yeah.
York. Make
Well,
big
even like
parking lot.
across
About
the
a bridge.
Even
That's right.
across the street, there was that little area developed at the dam. You know, that little park was developed at the dam.
So from where it's fenced off because it's hydro plant area now. So you can only get just so far. You can no longer get to the dam.
Right.
Well,
right,
you can
right.
walk up the river to the dam.
You could, but I'm thinking, in that across the street from the wastewater treatment plant driveway, right across, there's like a couple benches there or something like that. Even if there could be a couple parking places there or something like that.
Well, are we looking at parking for people who have disabilities? Is the Hoozick Bend Trail ADA compliant?
Oh, no. I was just saying, it's just a very long walk.
Oh, I understand.
From that. Yeah, I wasn't just doing it for ADA compliant. I was just saying that to ameliorate some concerns of people parking in the gates, because people, when the gates are open, go down and park in the wastewater treatment plant.
Right.
And then
Are there problems with parking at the garage?
the only problem with parking in the garage is it's so far away was the only problem. And this other grant
Right.
includes parking at trailheads. That's all. So it was an opportunity because the parking at the town garage is so far away, people go through the gates and park down. And then when it's time to lock the gates, people are parked there and they can't lock the gates.
I think that's
That's-
something that can be,
Well, I mean, there is a sign up on the gate warning people that
No, I know. I was just thinking if there was a way to remove that from the part of the issue is that the parking is so far away. That was all. So, okay. We won't be
I
late
guess
with
that would
anymore.
have to be a discussion with the select board and
Yeah.
Darcy from
Yep.
sewage treatment.
Okay, so in terms of activities at the Center Street Park, I thought it might be helpful. Is there any way that we could do a survey or something and get some feedback from the town? I mean, what?
Like a community survey or?
Yeah, like what would you like to see at the park? You know, we're
I was
thinking,
just thinking that it would be a really great thing to do a little research, outreach on it. We
okay,
could do it in a formalized way where we actually host a meeting, invite people to come, or in a less formal way with online and
Something on
mail in your
Facebook,
ideas.
front page forum, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, and like the Facebook page, and then maybe. Well, the other thing is
you've got a quarterly newsletter coming, don't you?
I was just gonna say, so we budgeted for a quarterly newsletter, and I know that there has been some opposition to that, but we really want to mail it for at least 1 year to everyone in town to get them used to getting the information in their mailbox, and then eventually we could opt in and out for electronic or mailed versions. But I am supposed to speak with Megan about getting that started this week, so that's a good opportunity as well.
I know we could also do something like a Survey Monkey, because, and I think it's free, Survey
Yes.
Monkey.
Oh yeah, I've done so many Survey Monkeys. Oh my goodness. I used to do
Yeah.
them for my homeschool co-op. Yep.
Yeah, so something, I just think it's important to get feedback on, these are the things we have here. What would you prefer to see, at the park? And so just some opportunity for feedback.
And it might be also good to, since it's Center Park and as Brian said, you don't want to get too congested. Provide 5 or 6 alternatives for people to,
Choose from, yeah.
as opposed to just fill in the blank.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Oh yeah, you can, the way you can structure Survey Monkey, you can make it
Yeah.
a multiple choice. You can make it where a short answer or a paragraph answer, so people can actually write in their ideas. And I seriously don't think we're going to get so many that we can't read through them. You know.
That would be a great problem to have, and I got so much.
I know, like if we actually got
feedback.
3,000
Much
Much
return
community
surveys.
involvement. Okay. So with that, I think we need to get that going in like the next week, and then we need a subcommittee or, it's not that many of us, but to work on the actual grant application.
You
before-
don't need, well, you listen, if you have a subcommittee deciding what to do, when you get to writing it, I can help you write it. That is my job for the town of Pownal. So
Okay.
Writing a grant and writing the language for a grant is something I'm more than happy to do. I know that Tim would be more than happy to help with the creation of the data that usually that goes with some of these grants. I haven't looked at the application, so I don't know what it requires. Some are far more involved than others. But I don't really have time to like go into a subcommittee and do meetings, but the minute you know what we're doing, I can write the language.
Okay. And in terms of getting select board approval, obviously we need that before the 27th.
So you're looking for select board approval just to chase the grant?
Well, the town of Pownal has to submit the grant, the letter of interest,
So when is the letter of interest due?
August 27th.
Okay, that's the letter of interest, not the grant application. All right, so let's put it on the agenda for the select board meeting next Thursday, and I can ask for the permission to submit the letter of interest.
So is that the 12th? Okay.
And what will we need to present to the select board?
If you could just ask Megan to put it on, say, request permission to pursue, it's Vorek?
Vorek, yep.
Yeah,
And
okay, so the
without
Vorek
having
grant-
without having any specifics attached to it, just,
It's, I mean, it's just an agenda. We're just asking like, for permission to send a letter of interest for a Vorek grant. That's
okay.
fine.
I'm just asking whether the select board needs any specifics, like what's this grant going to be for?
Oh, I understand.
Park Street improvement or Center Street improvement.
Yes, they would need to know that, certainly. Yes.
Okay. All right.
But the other thing too is that if you want, I'm doing the same thing with the planning grant situation. If you want to present 2 options and let the board pick what they would prefer to prioritize, that is what, that is their role.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good idea.
Okay.
So I could say, listen, here are the 2 ideas that we came up with. If you guys want to have a discussion about it, and maybe some of you guys can show up at the meeting, we can talk about it, and we can present, the Pownal Youth Sports area down in North Pownal, and then also talk about Center Street Park and the different ideas that we had, and then let the board ask us questions and make a determination if they even want us to pursue it. I'm sure they
Okay.
will.
Sounds good.
All right.
So Megan's there, right, Megan? So I don't even have to say right to Megan because
She's
Megan's
here.
She's
Okay.
hiding in the other room.
Yep,
Oh,
I'm
that's
here.
okay. So, Megan, if we could add that to the agenda for next Thursday, and actually just put it with my other one, and we can call it prioritizing grants, planning
Okay.
grant and Vorek grant.
Sounds good.
And can we be notified somehow very quickly thereafter of this select board's decision so that we can proceed very, very quickly?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, well,
They may want somebody from Parks and Rec to be there to answer
I really would
potential
like for
questions.
any or all of you to be there would be great. I think it would show some, like, Jennifer's been in there, but the more of us that can be there and really showing that we are a group that are having these conversations and doing this, I think it would be very helpful. I mean, it's a big,
Yeah.
it's a good opportunity. It sounds like a big opportunity.
I don't mind doing it. I just have something I do until 7:50. I'm not usually home till 7:30. So
Well,
I'm later at the meeting is all.
I will try to make it,
I gotta-
but I'm leaving at like 2:00 in the morning to go to California the next morning. So I may not be able to.
Brian, you
get to sleep on the plane.
I'll be away.
Oh no, I have 2 little kids in connecting flights. There's no sleeping.
Oh, okay.
So
All
as,
right.
as far as the baseball field, are we talking about building structures or?
So we've discussed a lot of different options on what we would like to see overall as a vision for the field down there, but we haven't like hammered anything out because the whole property ownership thing. But right now, some of the things that we've thought of are we would like to see about pulling down the 2 little sheds that we have and building a better shed to free up parking in the front. So instead of having those 2 little buildings right in the middle of the parking area, relocating those, doing dugout repairs, repairing fence line, maybe grading the field to try to level it because the outfield, it's not perfectly level. So if we want to turn that into soccer field or ice hockey rink in the winter, we would need to do some landscaping, those types of improvements. But simple stuff, like fence improvement, dugout repair, coat of paint, like that kind of stuff is fairly cheap. So
I would
we
think you'd
discussed a
want-
lot of different things, but we're thinking multi-year projects, like going down the line, not done it all in one year.
Right, I was saying, like, if you're thinking of like a multi-sport complex,
Yeah.
you probably want someone with planning experience too to come in and say, well, maybe the field shouldn't be here. It should be.
Oh yeah. Well, that is one of the other things we talked about is possibly relocating the positioning of the field because we would like to try to squeeze in a T-ball field down there. That way parents that have kids in 2 different age groups, they don't have to pick and choose like, well, which kid do I support and which kid do I not?
Right. But if you want to do multiple sports,
Yeah.
the field has to look a little different than,
Yeah. Well, I mean, like right now with running T-ball coach pitch, we can use the outfield at the same time for something different because we don't need the outfield. But if we run majors and minors, then we need the extended batting range. So then we can't do that at the same time.
I'm just thinking that if you're going to go for a grant like this, they're going to want it not just to be baseball or T-ball focused. They're going to want it to be like a big.
No, definitely. That's what we want to expand it that way because the field sits idle 3/4 of the year.
Right.
So you've got
We
the
want those
opportunity to not necessarily take up an awful lot of space or change a lot of landscaping, but you can put soccer nets that can be.
Yeah, and that's
Cross nets.
We've had a lot of stuff donated to us, and we were dedicating some money toward ordering portable nets. Like it's not going to be large like Olympic size nets. I mean, it's small age groups, so we have somebody that is an official ref. He's taken courses in it, and he's played soccer forever. So he's kind of helping guide us on what size nets we need for what age group, what size balls, all that good stuff. So he's kind of spearheading it, and he's
Batting cage.
No, you don't need a batting cage for soccer.
No. But I'm thinking for baseball. Do you have a batting cage?
We have a batting cage down there. However, the net is not up right now. We took the net down.
Golf net.
Well, that is an idea.
It's another sport. You don't have to do anything else.
One of the
but put a
ideas
net
that
on
we
it, put a
actually
fence
had
up.
was where the batting cage is located now, was taking that out and locating our T-ball field down in that back corner.
All right. Well, we can.
So we do have a lot of different ideas on what we would like to try to do down there. So, and you mentioned restrooms up here. We've actually mentioned about restrooms down there because during baseball season, we spend this year we spent $200 a month because we had the porta potty with clean out and a hand washing station. So it was $100 a month, about $100 a month each.
Yep.
So I mean that's
It's part of the new world.
it is. But you know what? As far as hand washing, there's nothing wrong with setting up a hand washing station. I got to be honest.
No, what I'm saying is that it's going forward, we didn't necessarily have to have this stuff before, but now it is something that we should do.
Yeah.
Yeah, hand washing, stuff like that. That's common sense. Like we should be doing that anyway.
Right. But it's something that, we've got to think about putting into a budget as well, because it hasn't been in budgets before.
Right.
Haven't had to.
No.
Yep.
So, but those are some of the ideas that we've kicked around at different youth baseball board meetings.
It's all good. It's all good. Yeah.
We want it all. We want it now and we don't care how.
No, I just think it would be really great to have a facility or a location where you could do multiple things in Pownal. I just think it would be great for.
Yeah, and we definitely as Pownal youth baseball, youth sports, we're definitely in support of it. That's why we're trying to branch out to see if we can get the community support and interest in it. And if we do, we'll continue with it. And if not, we'll pick something different and we'll try the ice skating.
Well, these partnerships are so important.
Yeah.
Important and to have some, folks who are ready to go.
Yeah. And right now it looks like we're getting a lot of parents are interested in it that, verbally at least committing that they're going to sign up. We've gotten a lot of donations as far as, soccer balls and like jerseys and well, not jerseys though, like the slip over vest things.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
So.
All right. So moving on to our close to last item, Center Street Park updates. So everyone, we've talked about this. We're getting closer and closer at Center Street Park. I think the skate park is very close to being finished. I know that Cliff was working with Megan actually to get the last of the metal for that. And Cliff has, the budget is exhausted basically for the skate park itself. So I think he has all the wood that he needs at this point. And I've seen him there periodically in the evening working on things. So I think that's just about buttoned up. The grills are there. The picnic tables are there. The little shade feature is there. I'm working with Rebecca and the librarian to order the outdoor message board and a replacement swing. And what's the last thing, Rebecca? I can't remember. The little free library.
The bulletin board in the little library.
Yep. So those things will be coming in the next, I think we'll be able to get them before the picnic, which would be kind of nice to have everything tidied up there.
Well, we could put up our vision in the bulletin board.
Yeah, could do that. So that's all coming to fruition. I can't think of anything else for the park. Can anyone else think of anything else that needs to be done?
That, those guys that have just put their all into building that skate park, it's pretty amazing. And I know that there's a couple guys that have just been donating pieces of metal to go down there. My son, my 15-year-old told me today, he goes, "Oh, Mama, guess what? His friends that are there in Pownal, he goes, they told me they put in this. They're just building stuff out of nothing down there for these kids, and their kids using it and then calling and saying, guess what they put in? Guess what they put in?" So I don't know. I think it's really great.
No, and it's, definitely seen participation increase every time I walk by or go there. Someone's there at this point. So.
Well, we stood out there watching them for a few minutes before.
Before we came here, there's like 5 people there skateboarding now. Is that your son?
People skateboarding, people watching.
Not in August. I don't have a home in Pownal for August.
Okay. All right.
The last thing is the shed. Anything in the shed this year? Wait till next year.
I guess we're going to have to look and see if we get any funds from our fundraising to tidy up the shed, but it would be nice if we could.
I keep forgetting to look at the siding. I might have siding.
Yeah,
All right.
make that look pretty. So, because if we have something nice, like a nice skate park and a nice new town.
Well, what are we looking for as far as materials for the shed? I know a few contractors, so I can ask around to see what I can try to scavenge.
It needs vinyl siding. And my husband could explain it better, but it's not the vinyl siding that's expensive. It's the J channel and all the other stuff. Yeah. And it needs plywood. The only thing holding it together is the metal siding that's on it, right? And, we wanted to do shelves to house things, for the winter and some other equipment in there. So It wasn't actually that much siding. I think I have it at home, how much it was. It's just that all those little pieces add
Yeah.
up. So I think it was like $500 in vinyl siding, but again, the
So
majority
some vinyl siding, some J channels. You're looking for shelving, like
shelving,
wall mount shelves or like freestanding?
wall mount shelves and plywood because it needs something to hold it together.
And you need the outside corner for the vinyl siding too, the outside corners.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Those are expensive too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's, I can't help but wondering if we're throwing good money after bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
At what point do you stop putting money into that and just try to do something different?
Yeah.
I know.
And I don't know these things. I'm not,
Yeah.
nothing to do with building, contracting or any of that sort of stuff.
I think
know
it's
about throwing
how.
good money after bad.
If it's donated, it's easier than,
Yeah. Well, I know I looked up like those steel arrow sheds from like Home Depot. You can get those for like $400 for like a 10 by 12, but they're just a cheap tin building. So, I mean, somebody's got to keep the roof raked off because they will collapse in the winter.
Oh, it's a flat.
No, but they're shallow pitch. I have two in my yard and I had one collapse. You know, you get 8-10 inches of snow, then you get a rain on top of it and down it goes.
okay. In terms of next meeting dates, times, I think we're gonna need to meet again to work on the grant, the Vorek grant, whatever we decide on. I mean, we can do some stuff by email too. And also some picnic items. So today is the 3rd. Would anyone be willing to meet on the 17th? That still gives us 10 days for,
I will be out of town.
right?
But depending on what's going on, I can try to zoom in from California.
I can try. I don't know if there's enough bandwidth where I am.
Yeah, that's just it. I'm not sure where,
Meeting on the
depending on where I'm
17th
going
at
to be.
7.
Oh, okay. Is there any, are you both away that week? Is that what it is? Oh, yeah. So I think the alternative is early, the 23rd, but that's, pushing it close to the
Isn't that, wait, when is the picnic?
Picnic's the 22nd.
22nd.
Right. So we're just gonna let those chips fall where they may, I guess? We're not gonna meet again before that?
Well, we can meet again. I just don't know if I have a quorum because Peter and Brian are out of town.
Well, if we're
I
just
say we
going
take
into,
a vote
if
to
we're just going
authorize
into
board
planning
members to
committee,
discuss it.
listen, so if we're just going into planning committee mode, right? Just planning
Yes.
mode, I
Yeah.
think we can do all that without a quorum. Okay, that's work.
Okay.
That's work. We're not making decisions. Having the picnic is already a decision that's made. And then I would also say that if everyone agrees that we want to send a letter of intent, if the select board approves for one of those two options, and we're going to let the select board approve, then we can also discuss that. I can get that letter of intent written.
I think it's more than a letter of intent. It needs data. It needs cost estimates. It's not just, the letter doesn't just go in.
Okay. So it's more than a letter of intent. It's like a partial application, it sounds like.
Yeah, I sent it.
Because a letter of intent is usually just stating
It is
kind
just
of
a letter?
vision. Yeah, it's just like stating a vision and what you're hoping to do, and you're just asking for permission to apply. So
Okay.
but if this is different, then it's different. So we have to know that. Yikes. Can you send me a link to what their requirements are for
Yes,
the
I will.
letter of intent, please?
Yep.
And, then
And maybe
me
that can
Tim and Megan might
dictate.
be able to bang that out.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
And I don't know that it necessarily has to be either or Center Park and 346. I mean, if you're looking at $50,000 minimum, we can get a lot done at both places.
I don't know if you can apply for both places, but let me look at the specifics of that.
I mean, Jim Sullivan, has put out different emails saying to, please, reach out to them with any questions or if we need any assistance. Maybe this is something we could touch base on
Absolutely.
with them.
Absolutely.
So I'm looking at the calendar, sorry.
Oh, so was
Well,
I.
I
mean,
think the first question
next
is
week
what's the letter
or-
of intent? Because I don't know that I'll be able to get data and all that. I mean, that's a lot. That's in that amount of time.
Jim has data.
And
Jim's got the data.
Jim's got the
It
data.
makes sense to wait until after the select board meeting, so up to the 12th.
after the 12th, so I guess we'll just have to go with the 17th with whoever is available, right?
And I'll see if I can zoom in.
Yeah, I don't want people to do stuff on their
If
vacations
we're not
though.
discussing things, that we're not making decisions, that we're just doing the work for
Yeah,
what we've already discussed, we're fine without a quorum, in my opinion.
No, I
Because
understand,
this-
but
this
I'd
committee's
like
a
to
lot of
zoom
work.
in if I can.
Oh, yeah, no, I want you to zoom in, but just in case it's only 4 of us, I think we can still meet, is what I'm saying.
okay.
What time?
She said that there's a planning commission meeting at 7,
So you have to meet before that.
right? So maybe 5:30.
Unless you do a strictly Zoom meeting.
I'm
then you
okay
can
with
meet
doing just
anywhere.
a Zoom meeting if it's just.
Because then you don't have to worry about the building.
Right. Are you guys okay with just doing a Zoom meeting?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Okay. Zoom only.
7 o'clock?
Do you mind 6 o'clock?
I don't.
6 o'clock, 8:17. Okay.
And so Megan can make the link for us. I think, can you have 2 links at the same time, Megan, running? Do you know?
We can, no.
We cannot. Okay, so Jennifer, do you have a paid Zoom account?
I don't, but I have a Teams account.
Yeah, I have Teams too.
I have
Does
Teams.
everyone else know how to use Teams or?
I don't know anything about it.
Okay, let's keep it on Zoom. So I will, I can do it from my free Zoom account and it'll run out in 40 minutes. And if we're not done, I'll start a new one.
Or I could start at 5:30. I don't care. Do you work till 5:30?
Yeah, it depends. I'll work it out.
We can start at 5:30, Rebecca.
It doesn't matter to me.
Okay,
I'm
So
at your
we're-
beck and call.
5:30 on
5:30.
8/17. Then we don't have to worry about
Okay.
the Zoom link. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Is there any other business we need to talk about? No. Is there anyone else, Megan, for public comment?
There's no one in here.
Okay. I guess that means I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All good.
Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Megan.